Peace in times of change. I'm terrified of heights. Anyone else? Great. I'm one of those people who's learned the hard way that I no longer need to prove to myself that I can't do something, that I cannot do. It is so bad. You know those malls with 2 floors? I cannot go within 5 feet of the railings looking down, simply paralyzed with primal fear. However, I have no fear of flying. I can gleefully check out the landscape at 30,000 feet above the ground. One of the running theories that I've heard is that fear of flying is about not being in control or not trusting someone else to be in control. In this case, the pilots. And a fear of heights is not trusting in my own ability not to trip over my own 2 feet and fall. Sometimes I get that primal monkey desire to wonder what it'd be like to leap from the branches again, and then I get really nervous. A few years ago, I was flying back from a trip to our seminary in Chicago, Mevon-Lombard. I was on the planning team that started a new educational initiative called the FOS Collaborative. And we were about to land, looking out the window maybe 20 feet above the ground. I could see the swamps around us and was thinking how pretty they were. That was right before my stomach went into my throat. The plane quickly reversed direction as it began to rapidly shake. The fellow seated next to me had his eyes shut for the landing and almost jumped out of his seat when he realized we were all of a sudden going in the wrong way. Now, the brain can think about a remarkable number of tragedies in the 2 minutes between an aborted plane landing and the time it takes for the pilot to explain what just happened. The brain is a true gift that way. The plane is falling apart. The ground is not safe for whatever reason, terrorists, riots, zombie apocalypse, I don't know. We're going to have to fly to another airport. We'll run out of gas. The wheels have broken off. 2 minutes later, the pilot announced that we had experienced wind shear. It's apparently when the wind direction or pressure changes significantly over a short distance. It was the source of the 1985 crash of Delta Flight 191. None of this was anything I had any idea about. In fact, no one around me did either, apparently. You could hear the muttered questions of, wind shear? What is that? What's going on? It would be another 10 minutes before we could attempt at the landing again, and I was once reminded of one of Jesus' teachings about worry. He admonishes his disciples not to worry. The bad thing never happens. You put yourself through it once for no reason. And if the bad thing does happen, you put yourself through it twice for no reason. Worry doesn't change anything, and it doesn't add a day to our lives. In pastoral care moments, it's advice that often comes out of my mouth, especially when for folks the time of waiting and not knowing becomes unbearable. I remember thinking in that 10 minutes of waiting for word of what was going on, oh wow, this advice is actually helpful. In case you're wondering, the second attempt at landing was smooth, we made it, and I am in fact still alive. Fear of flying is sometimes about not trusting the professional in the cockpit when you don't have control yourself. Trust in others can sometimes insulate us from fear. Fear of heights is often about not trusting ourselves when we don't feel in control. Trust, fear, control. Sudden change is scary. The 45th presidency felt like wind shear to me. In this nation and in this world, the wind direction changed. Pressure was all over the place. I still don't know how we're going to land this plane. Am I flying? Are you flying? Or do we just have the seatbelt buckled tight? And a lot of people were startled into opening their eyes all of a sudden. I remember a photo of an elder woman marching at a protest with a sign that read, "Didn't I protest this in the 60s?" And we're seeing those photos again now. Some of us are in shock from the rapid changes we've witnessed, and others know it's always been this way. Just more people are noticing now. For those still reeling from wind shear, and it feels like it's happening every couple months these days, there's a pain in witnessing the stunting of progress. There's this Western myth informed by science. Technology improves at a radical rate thanks to the bedrock of past insights. The same is true for specializations in medicine, transportation, and a whole host of science-related progress. However, it's not necessarily true of social progress. Each generation seems to have to relearn the lessons of past generations. Ethics and morality take a different kind of measurement. Our hearts need to break and learn to stay open. Each moral, each ethic, every bit of social progress needs to be relearned every generation. We can find that cause for despair or exhaustion, or we can view it as the seasonal work of the Spirit, gardening for a new yield. As people of faith and faithful action, it could just be the work to do. And lives depend on all of us to do it in our times of strength. Every heart that's turned, every sorrow that's mended, every turn toward wholeness in our society is a gift, the work of our Spirit. If we let our hands and hearts lead with compassion, generation after generation, it's something worthy being renewed by, not exhausted from. Amen and blessed be.